How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Conti and Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The first time they go offense, they take Jordan Love? They take Jordan Love!
Listen, Matisse Thybulle will lock up
Matisse
CP3.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul, baby. Right, Will?
Nope, I totally disagree. Look. Why are you not working?
It's working.
There we go! Now welcome to Conti and Nick. The mic isn't
It
on.
wouldn't be something if it wasn't an issue. Huh?
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
Well,
whenever we're here, I guess.
we're back. How fitting is it that Chris Paul is in our intro? Because today it's a Chris Paul day. A little bit of Chris Paul
a
day.
little bit of a Chris Paul day.
Just a little bit.
You know, I mean, how's everyone doing? How's all Zero Review viewers so far doing? Hope we're all having a fantastic day.
I'm doing great.
Are you doing great?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing pretty great.
Took Fifi for a walk.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah?
Want to go somewhere, get something to eat? Fuck
Yeah.
this podcast?
Yeah, you're right.
Dude, Chipotle, honestly.
KK's?
I'm telling you, KKD's, what is it, Burger Bar is it called?
Yes. in
KKD's
Marshfield.
Burger Bar in Marshfield, about 5 minutes down from the Will Nicholson Conti and Nick headquarters. Let me tell you something right now, S-tier burger. I don't think Will agreed with me. Did you agree with me?
I did. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No,
did you? I think it was
place
Jake.
is
I think it was
amazing.
Jake who didn't agree with me. Because he got a melt, right?
He got
like a double, like a grilled cheese
and like
melt
they
or something.
fucked it up too.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro. I mean, I guess when you go to a burger place and you get a grilled cheese melt, Jake, I mean, that's what you get, I guess.
True.
But I mean, hell yeah, man, that was fucking good.
Yep.
I texted my Uncle Sean, who lives. You gotta meet him, by
Yeah,
the way.
I do gotta meet Uncle Sean.
Who lives in Marshfield.
Long overdue.
And I'm like, oh man, I just tried this place, and he texted me back the next day. He was like, that place is freaking awesome.
Yeah, we love KKD's.
I know, and shout out the mug.
The mug is the reason the podcast started.
It is.
And I'll die on that hill.
There's no reason. I don't disagree with you. We literally discussed it at the mug.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The mug is where everything
Well,
happens.
no one here is disagreeing with you.
Mel, why are you shaking your head?
Todd.
Mel, why are you disagreeing? He's 6'3".
I gotta disagree with you there, Will.
I gotta disagree with you. All right, where do we want to start today?
Mel
Patriots.
Conti, Mel Conti and Willie McShay.
Willie McShay, of course.
Oh yeah, we gotta
Always.
start off with some Patriots, man.
I like it.
So the schedule release for the New England Patriots did come out, I believe, like the night after we had the episode with Jake.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks because we're like, man, I wish we could have incorporated that into next week. But you know, whatever, it is what it is. And something else I realized, obviously, we're not doing like a full thing like we did last year, but this is also another little mini coming full circle thing.
Oh yeah, it is.
Because remember we did like a schedule release thing last year too?
Yeah, it's weird. We have the NBA draft. I don't know if you saw the draft lottery last night.
The Magic
that happened.
the Magic got the number 1 pick. I mean, if they get Chet, well, whatever. Like we'll get into that when we'll get into that. But I mean, hell yeah, the draft lottery. I'm happy for the Orlando Magic. I mean, I got some games here that other than the Patriots schedule, which we're about to go over now, I'm excited for. So I mean, let's go. Let's look over this Patriots schedule, man. What do you think?
Sure. So we got week 1. We have the Patriots at Miami. And I have this as a loss. Same thing last year. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat Miami early. They're going to be really fast. Tyreek Hill, and I do think the Dolphins are going to be good this year. People have questions about Tua. I think that you can, he's a serviceable quarterback. I don't think he's some superstar level talent, but I do think he can be a starter and he can take this team to the playoffs this year. I believe so. Week 1, I have us taking the L to Miami.
So do you want to go through your whole thing?
Oh yeah, I'll go through. Sure.
Yeah, I was just gonna go through mine quickly.
Yeah, sure. So, to summarize mine, I have the Patriots going 7-10. Really quick.
Okay.
I have them beating the Steelers, the Ravens. I have them beating the Lions, losing to the Packers. I have them losing to the Browns, beating the Bears, beating the Jets, losing to the Colts. Week 7 bye, pretty good too. Or, no, my bad. I don't know what week that is, but...
Whatever.
I have us beating the Jets. I have us losing to the Vikings, losing to the Bills, beating the Cardinals, because that just seems like a Bill Belichick win, contain the run-first quarterback, and who knows with D-Hop being injury-prone these past couple of years. I have us losing the last 4. I have us losing to the Raiders, the Bengals. The Dolphins, I have us going 0-2 against this year. Just because Miami, for some reason, you said it a couple times, has our number at the end of the year. So I have that being an L. And then I have the Bills. We take a loss to the last game of the year. in January. So 7-10, probably not a playoff year for the Patriots, which is unfortunate. I could see a couple of these going back and forth. Maybe we beat the Packers, maybe we beat the Colts, but overall, I think this is a 7-10 year for the Patriots. We got a decently tough schedule. We got a lot of the good teams.
I think we got like a middle of the road one, right?
Sure.
You know, like those science things, like those pro football focused events, like when they literally like do science to see who your like most difficult thing is. I think when I saw it, we got close to middle of the road.
Sure.
Or around like 16, 15, one of those.
They schedule it so if you're in the AFC, you play one team from each division in the NFC, right?
Yes.
So
and then the 17th. So the 17th game, I think how they made it out to be, with every division, like every 4 years, it's a cycle. Okay, so it's a cycle of...
Oh, so we play the NFC North this year.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. We play the Packers, the Lions, the Bears, and the Vikings. Okay, so we play the NFC North.
So the 17th game, I think, is the Cardinals one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right, because, again, it's always... They pair you up with whatever ranked team from that division.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It was the NFC South last year. We played Tampa and Carolina.
Yeah, Tampa. Yeah, exactly. So whatever. I mean, when they always add these freaking rules, it's always like so confusing.
It's super confusing. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it is pretty much they alternate which division on the other conference that you face, but you face the one that was equally as seeded as you last year.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, and I could be wrong, but I believe that's what the Cardinals game is.
Yes.
This year. So I mean, hey man, I'm all for it. I'm excited for it because Pats versus Cardinals. For those who don't know, Cardinals are my second favorite team. So
that's an exciting one.
I know it's an exciting one. So here we go. I'll go over my games 1 through 17. Dolphins, I'm taking an L. Steelers, you're gonna be a little surprised by my beginning of the year. Steelers W.
Okay.
Ravens W.
Okay.
Packers W.
Oh, okay.
Lions W.
Yeah.
So I have the Patriots starting off 4-1.
Okay.
Okay. Browns L.
Yeah.
Bears W.
Okay.
Jets W. Colts L.
Okay.
Jets W again.
Yep.
Vikings L.
Yep.
Bills L. Cardinals W, because I just hate Cliff and Kyler.
I have that as a win too.
Yeah. Raiders loss. Bengals loss. Dolphins win.
Okay.
Bills win.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have them go? Was that 10-7? So
he
flipped.
Yeah,
wow, how shocking.
Yeah.
Well, then Conti flipped.
So just kind of give a quick little brief summary of some of the ones that may be a little weird. The Packers, again, I'm not very high on the Green Bay Packers. Yes, they have Aaron Rodgers, and yes, they will always have that leadership, and they still do have a good defense. But I think that the importance of Davante Adams is being a little underrated here. Yes, Aaron Rodgers can take guys and make him look better than they are. He does have that trait as a quarterback, but it definitely doesn't hurt when you have a absolute stud and a superstar. Arguably the best receiver in the league. I think it's DeAndre Hopkins when healthy, but I think that Davante Adams is number 2. So having the second best receiver in the league when everyone's healthy definitely helps. And with him not being there, I really don't think that Green Bay is going to look all that good. No disrespect to Randall Cobb, good veteran, Alan Lazard, and Christian Watson, and Sammy Watkins, Mr. Week 1 himself, Sammy Watkins.
Week 1 himself.
Yeah, so I mean,
I could see that Packers one being a win too. And look, I am gonna backtrack. The more I look at the NFC North, I'll give you credit for this. The Vikings winning that division doesn't seem as ridiculous. The more and more that I look at it, but I will say I'm sticking with it's still the Packers now, just because I need to see it to believe it.
Will's the type of guy who needs to put his hand on the stove to find out it's hot.
Exactly, exactly.
Rather than just knowing not to put his hand on the stove.
Well, I need to see it, right? I have to see it because
that's fair.
I remember when we did this with Tom Brady. Oh, Tom doesn't have the weapons. The AFC East is wide open, and it never happened. And I'm getting the same vibes from that, but I could easily see. I think that Justin Jefferson is going to go crazy this year, insane. I think he could be an MVP candidate. I think he goes absolutely.
I had
wild.
him winning Offensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, so it's not far fetched, and obviously I was just giving you shit. But I mean, it's just my prediction. And I
am that type of guy, though. You are right.
It's completely fair, and I'm not going to fault you if you think that, or if you want to kind of stick to your guns and say that Green Bay is going to win the division.
I think it's Green Bay's division until it's not. It's been Green Bay's division since Aaron Rodgers came to the Packers.
No, it's fair.
It's tough.
It's fair, but I just think this is going to be the year where it's not.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I just think that this is.
It's like, remember when San Antonio in like the late 2010s, more towards like 2017, 2018. It was like, oh, this is the year the Spurs don't make the playoffs, and they just kept making it.
Yep.
And everyone tried to predict it. You can't, right? It's hard to predict when, okay, this division is no longer run by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. This could be that year, though.
Yeah, and so the only reason, like, again, I'm not here trying to diminish Aaron Rodgers' talent. He's a back-to-back MVP. But I do think that, especially when you're in your late 30s, having a guy like Devontae Adams, I'll repeat, helps so much.
It's going to be insane not having him.
Helps so much, and it's going to make his job a whole hell of a lot harder. Obviously, the running game has remained the same, and I mean, it's a very good running game. It's a good thing to have. But Robert Tonyan actually tore his ACL, and that takes about 2 years to recover from a torn ACL, especially for like a big guy who has a lot. I wouldn't say a lot because he's not fat. But do you know what I mean? Like a bigger guy, a bigger tight end. So, I mean...
We're going to have to get Dom Hausberger on that. These guys are recovering way quicker.
Brady, what up?
Yeah, sure.
Nice haircut.
Okay, oh, wait, hold on. We got to introduce, as always, now coming to the set, Brady Nicholson.
Hello.
All right, I just want to say, Aaron Rodgers is the most spoiled bitch in the NFL of all time. All right? He has... arguably the number one receiver in the league right now.
Not anymore.
He has not anymore, but he had right?
And he won an MVP.
And he had an all-pro running back, all right, a mid-tier tight end, a good offensive line, and a decent defense.
Offensive line.
And he has the audacity to go and bitch about the Packers not getting a receiver in the first round. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? He blames that. That's what he blames on. It is never Aaron Rodgers' fault, and I'm sick of it. I don't like him at all. He's overrated. He's a little bitch, and he's bad for the league.
All right,
and
Brady,
I think it's Jordan Love time.
Oh my God! Out! You are not welcome back here.
No, I'm right.
Fuck off! Get out! Oh, that's great.
That's classic.
That's great. I love it. That made my day. You know, I don't even agree with that last line, but just the fact that he said it, I love it.
Just immediately, out! Get out! No, I mean, it could be hard. I don't even know. Something about the Packers.
Yeah.
So you have us beating the Packers is what I was kind of bringing that back to.
And another one that a lot of people, I don't think you didn't notice, but I think that the Ravens, we're going to beat them, and I think we're going to beat them pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, because the way I look at it, if we can beat the Baltimore Ravens with Cam Newton, we can beat the Baltimore Ravens with Mac Jones.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, that's really my one and only explanation.
Baltimore is not that good this year. When you on paper, I will say,
they had a fantastic draft.
Sure, they had a very good draft. They got Lamar. They got Kyle Hamilton, right?
They traded Hollywood.
Yeah, they traded Hollywood. But I still think the receiving core is underwhelming. J.K. Dobbins is going to be back, which fantasy owners, he's going to be big, I think. This team, I think, is going to probably...
Yeah, I wish that played for me last year.
Yeah, right? you know how the
pick.
Eagles were this year, where they were like an okay team, but they had a very good run game, and that kind of carried them for a lot of the year. I see a lot of that in the Ravens this year.
That's who the Ravens have been for years.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always like towards the top of the league.
Absolutely. I think they lead the team in rushing this year, and I think
as long as they have Lamar Jackson, that's the right.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? I think they're maybe like an 8-9 team in my opinion, and sneaking into the playoffs. But we'll see.
I don't know.
It's tough.
I personally think that Lamar Jackson's going to be out of the league in 3 years. But anyway, so another one. And let's go over a couple more real quick before we move on to some games that we're excited for. Vikings, like I said, L. Colts, L. I mean, we already went over this, but unfortunately,
and you're high on the Colts too.
I think the Colts are coming out of the AFC.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I was kind of going back and forth on this one because I found it really difficult, and I found it kind of painful saying that Bill Belichick is going to lose to Zach Taylor.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I don't believe that. I mean, let's wait. Let's wait and see until we see how Burrow and Chase look this year. Now that teams know that they're going to be the main focus, now that they have a year of tape. But I don't anticipate they'll have that much of a drop-off. And unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to keep up with that, along with Joe Mixon having another good year to pile on what he had last year.
Offensive line improved.
The offensive line did improve. I'm very happy about that. Miami Dolphins, I think that we're going to split with them. So in terms of our division, I think that we're going to sweep the Jets and then split with the other two. And that may seem a little surprising, but you're telling me that we can't... Listen, if last year's team, which is worse than this year's team... Because this team had made some pretty damn good upgrades. This team has made some upgrades. You're telling me that if we can steal a game from that team, we can't steal a game from this team as well?
I don't know. I think Buffalo is just very, very good this year. I said that last year. I thought they were going to be insane last year.
You had them going 15-2 and Josh Allen won the MVP.
I did. And, while that was wrong, I mean, the Bills, they were still a very good team. They struggled a lot with the run game, and I feel like that improves. I think they have a good defensive scheme. I like Doug McDermott as a defensive guy. And I think they'll be a good team. I think they win the AFC East. And I also think Miami's... Yeah, obviously. I think Miami's going to be really good, and I think we go 0-2 against Miami. And then we sweep the Jets. It's always a sweep the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we'll see, because I do not anticipate that Tyreek Hill is going to be as good as people make him out, because just because he's a name doesn't mean he'll fit in that scheme. Okay?
Sure.
Like, listen, if you're coming from a San Francisco offense, like with Mike McDaniel, I'm sorry.
Yep.
When you're coming from a guy who's led by Mike McDaniel, how do they use Deebo Samuel? That as that hybrid guy, that's how he's going to try to use Tyreek Hill. And
I think
I'm
that could work, though. I don't know.
It's not gonna. And I'm going to say this, and I'm like the Will Nicholson vintage. I'm going to die on this hill, because Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel are not the same build. Okay, Deebo Samuel, yes, is about the same height-wise, but he's big, he's bulky, and he's built to take hits. Tyreek Hill isn't like that. Tyreek Hill will run right by you. Tyreek Hill will leave you in a cloud of dust because he's just that goddamn fast, but he's not built to take the hits from guys like Adrian Phillips all the time, guys like Kyle Duggar, guys like Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, who will mostly be seen. I'm just naming guys in the division. Yep. He's not built to take constant, consistent, hard hits from guys like those. I mean, you can be small and speed by people. That's what's made him successful. But if you're not bulky, you can't take the hits, and that's why Deebo Samuel is so perfect in his role.
See, I disagree with you a little bit here. I actually think that Tyreek Hill is going to do very well in this role. I think that his speed makes him such a weapon. I think it almost is going to do more than, obviously, yes, he can take the top off of any defense, but his ability to sideline be faster than everyone, I think that's going to work more, and I think it's going to be less of Deebo and more of kind of like a slot type of receiver, you know what I mean? Where it's, Tyreek Hill's always been deep threat, and they're going to continue
drag routes and crossing routes.
Absolutely, they're going to do that, but I'm just saying his ability to take sideline to sideline is going to be more emphasized, where it's okay, maybe we get Tyreek on a jet sweep, maybe we get him running a quick little drag and just beating everyone off the sideline. And
it's in Kansas City,
sure,
too.
But they also had a lot of the plays where it's okay, Tyreek's down there somewhere, Mahomes put it up, think Tua's going to be good. Tua's not that guy, right? Tua's he's not a launch the ball down the field kind of guy.
He doesn't have a piss missile.
No, he doesn't. He's very accurate with the ball, and I think it's going to be a lot of more short routes with Tyreek, a lot more than we were seeing. He's going to look more like in the Travis Kelce type role, you know what I mean? Where it's okay, he's the intermediate, he's the medium, short guy, and you just yards after catch. That's all he's going to be.
Yeah, and listen, he's fully capable of doing that, but I wouldn't disagree with you if he didn't come from an offense that just used Deebo Samuel.
Sure.
Like Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
That's
and Deebo hated that.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So what happens? God bless you. What happens when Tyreek Hill gets hit? What happens when the lumber gets laid on him? What happens? His body is not physically built for that.
I don't know. He's kind of a big dude. Obviously, he's short, but
he's not bulky.
He's not bulky, but he's not skinny either.
Yeah, I'm not calling him like Tyquan Thornton skinny. I'm not saying
obviously.
But when you're short, that's why Darren Sproles has lasted as long as he did when he lasted as long as he did in the league. Because he was 5'6", but the man could take a hit.
Yeah.
Okay, like Tyreek Hill, obviously he's a football player, so people can take hits. But but over a course of a 17-game season, and especially when you face Javon Holland every day in practice, Javon Holland was their second-round pick last year, safety out of Oregon. Hard-hitting, mean son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Taking those hits every day in practice, along with the guys I mentioned before, and that's not even to mention other guys I don't know their schedule by heart, other people that they will be facing. I don't know, man. I think
it's tough.
I mean, and then look, so if our division has the NFC North, then they'll have Adrian Amos, they'll have Darnell Savage to go over. I mean, damn, man. And especially if you're going to get in that scat back type of role, that hybrid, you're going to be getting a lot of linebackers too.
That's true.
So
it's just, can they catch him? That's half of it.
I agree that they might not be able to catch him, but that's what having a guy like Andy Reid to put you in the deep crossing routes and those drag routes every now and again, that's where his scheme comes to play, and Mike McDaniel is a little different from that.
Sure. While we're still in the AFC East, I want to move to the Bills, because you have a splitting with the Bills as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I just think that obviously this New England Patriots team has made some upgrades. I know that a lot of people are not happy with the Cole Strange pick, but I definitely think that his versatility, because I think that the Patriots are going to run more of an outside zone scheme this year. I mean, they've kind of made that clear. They got the fastest running back in the draft in Pierre Strong, and they got the fastest wide receiver in the draft in Tyquan Thornton. So, I mean, you're telling me that they're going to get these two speed guys and then just run power I every single time? No, and not to mention they got rid of Jakob Johnson, their fullback, who Bill Belichick was very happy with.
Yep.
So
they're not running that power offense anymore.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, obviously they will if they need to, which why I think Dalton Keene, if he makes the roster, is going to be an interesting guy. He can fill into that Kyle Juszczyk role. But I personally think that this team has made some upgrades. We're going to be a little bit different, not that much, but a little bit different from the Patriots that we've seen for the last 10,000 years.
For sure.
So I think that that's going to throw Buffalo off a little bit. And you know what? I do anticipate that they'll be in mid-season, not in mid-season form or late season form. They're going to have that spot where they have like a certain seed locked up and they might rest some starters. You know, it'll be like one of those ordeals and we'll steal a game. And especially, it's like I said, since we've made some upgrades.
Absolutely. See, I after seeing what happened to us in the playoffs last year, it's hard to say that we're not going to get swept by Buffalo.
That was the defense.
The defense. And the defense, you know, it's gotten better in some aspects. I mean, I guess Malcolm Butler is something.
He's an upgrade.
Sure.
And then
losing JC is hard. But...
Jack Jones and Marcus Jones. I think Jack Jones is that ideal length corner. That guy out of Arizona State we got in the sixth round. He has that ideal length, kind of similar to JC. He'll take some time to come along, but I think in time he'll be pretty good. Marcus Jones is a rock-solid slot corner who can be mentored by Jonathan Jones. Miles Bryant is good safety depth for Devin McCourty when he comes in. Move Kyle Duggar down full-time to the outside spot. You have Phillips, and then Jabril Peppers can go anywhere.
You know what this team kind of reminds me of? It reminds me somewhat of what the 49ers were like last year. Maybe a little bit worse, but it's, like you said, that Kyle Juszczyk role. We filled in nicely. You have Mac Jones, who... I mean, I hope he takes a leap. I mean,
he'll take another step.
I think so.
He'll for sure take another step.
I think Tyquan Thornton is going to be really, really good. I'm pretty high on Tyquan Thornton. I
like him.
I think his speed can take, you know, it brings an aspect to the offense that we didn't have. You know, Aguilar, sure, he's kind of fast, but
Aguilar's a speedster. And, you know, let me tell you, I don't like people, I'm not saying you. Yes. I'm sorry. People who just say Aguilar sucks. You have to realize that this offense was not constructed for him to succeed. You had a rookie quarterback.
If it was, he'd have 1,300 receiving yards.
Exactly. Exactly. You had a rookie quarterback who Josh McDaniels did not allow the full playbook and the luxury of launching it down the field all that often to, you know, do a lot. And Aguilar's game consists off of those take the top off the defense plays. This scheme, I mean, he's a very scheme-specific player, is Aguilar. This scheme was not designed for him to succeed. It doesn't mean he sucks.
You don't think that Tyquan Thornton is the Nelson Aguilar replacement?
I'm saying
that's what it feels like.
I'm saying he is, but I'm just saying to the people who say, "Oh, Aguilar sucks." You know, he doesn't. He doesn't suck. This is just he was in a wrong system.
There's parts of his games I don't like. I still question his hands.
Yeah, he doesn't. He has he alligator arm shit sometimes. But, so real quickly, let's go to some games I'm excited for. I have a few listed. Bills versus Rams, I believe, is the season opener.
That is, and I love that.
I'm excited for that. I mean, obviously some cobwebs will have to be shaken off, but still, I'm very hyped for that. Vikings versus Packers. I try not to get divisional matchups in because we see it twice a year, but this is going to be the dethroning of Aaron Rodgers. Patriots versus Cardinals. That's a personal choice for me. That's a personal choice for me.
I love it.
Patriots versus Vikings. Another personal choice for me. Okay. Broncos versus Seahawks. Week 1. I'm very excited.
That's going to be great too.
I'm very excited to see how Russ is going to do against his home team, his major team, Seattle, and kind of that hostile environment now, which is now hostile.
Yeah.
Lions versus Bills.
Really?
I want to see Dan Campbell and how he's going to do as that scrappy underdog team.
All right.
This is a David versus Goliath battle. And
let me guess.
David's going to win.
Yeah.
And David's going to win. And then Vikings versus Dolphins.
Ooh, that's not a
Vikings versus Dolphins is going to be a good one, man. And let me tell you something. I think that's going to be an absolute shootout, more than some people may think. And that's what I got.
I will say one of the games that I'm super excited about. I agree with you. I think the week 1 is amazing for this year.
Good lineup.
Obviously, the Thursday night season opener, Rams and Bills. That's going to be a great game. That's a great. It's way better than last year. I don't know who thought that Cowboys and Bucks were a good. It was okay.
It was a good game. That was a good game.
It was a good game.
Yeah, that was.
But I think they could have done better. with a season opener.
Maybe.
I really this is okay. The Bills, who I think are next up, I think that they're going to be a Super Bowl team this year versus the former Super Bowl champs. This is a great opener. I also really like Seattle and Denver. I think that's a great game. Also, we're playing on Thanksgiving, Gino. It's for the first time since 2012. Patriots versus Vikings on Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah, baby.
I mean, that's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
So that's what I'm most excited for.
For those who don't know, the Vikings are my third favorite team.
So I also really, really like Arizona versus New England. I think that feels like a game the Patriots win. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, on paper, the Cardinals are good. They have a good wide receiver core. They have a lot of speed. It kind of feels like how we it's going to feel like the Chargers game last year. You know what I mean? Where it's, oh yeah, young quarterback, really good. Good offense, mid defense, right?
No, mid quarterback.
No,
a mid quarterback and a sucky head coach.
Sure,
a mid quarterback and a sucky head coach.
But it feels like a Patriots win. It feels like one that the Patriots.
We're gonna obliterate them.
Okay, Conti.
Yeah, it's gonna be 45-0 at the end of the first half.
Okay,
actually, first quarter.
There we go.
Actually, first 5 minutes of the game.
First 5 minutes of the game. Mac Jones will have the most receiving yards. Yeah, you know what? He'll have the most receiving yards
Mac
ever
Jones
in a game.
Is going to throw and receive 1,000 yards, so he's going to throw it up to himself.
Todd.
So I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with this. Are there any other games that you're excited for?
I haven't looked too deep into the schedule. I saw the home openers are really good. But no, I'm all set. I'm excited for this.
I'm ready to talk about some Suns. Are you?
Oh yeah.
So the big question, I put this on the Conti and Nich story a couple days ago. Phoenix Suns got absolutely obliterated in Game 7 by Luka Doncic-led Dallas Mavericks team. The big question, they were the number 1 seed in the West, and they were title favorites by most. Do you blow it up or do you stay put?
You blow it up. It's time. It's this team. It's not gonna work anymore. I think they've peaked. I think last year was their really best shot at a ring. They led 2-0 in the finals, and then the Bucks obviously pretty much reverse sweep them after those first 2 games. So it's hard. It's hard to justify this team going furthermore. But I will say the Chris Paul slander has to stop. I'm not a fan of it. Yes, he did struggle in the playoffs, but like questioning Chris Paul's legacy. Well, this is a stain, yes, but I mean, we're not saying Chris Paul is like the best point guard to ever do it. I think he's up there with a lot of the really good point guards, and I'd love to have Chris Paul, on any team, any day. I think he makes them better. He made OKC better. He made Houston better.
He carried OKC.
Yeah, and he made this Phoenix Suns team better. But, all good things must come to an end. Chris Paul has been, and I've said this and people didn't like when I said it, like Chris Paul, right? Love how he got the bag. Way overpaid. He was making, like $25 million a year. He was on like a $50 million 2-year contract. Way too much money. Especially at his age. I get he is a good player. Chris Paul is probably going to sign another big deal because he's a free agent this year, correct?
I think, no, he signed an extension with Phoenix.
He did? Okay. Yeah. But he needs to get moved. It's time for him to get moved. It's hard. It really is hard because I liked watching him and Devin Booker together. I liked watching Devin Booker be competitive, but I mean, if anything, I put more of this on Book, right? Book's supposed to be that scoring guy, and he just wasn't in this series, and he got outplayed by Luka. And again, shout out to Luka. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Unguardable. Adversity hit, and he stayed the course, and he took this game to 7, and, he closed it out in, dramatic fashion. So, I think it is time to blow it up, though.
So, you think that when you say blow it up, do you mean include Devin Booker and get him out of town?
No, I don't think so.
So, I mean, as long as you have Devin Booker, you're in the playoffs.
Sure. So are you, though? Because
yes,
with Devin and Booker.
With that supporting cast and what you get in return for Chris Paul, you're going to get something pretty decent.
Sure.
So you remain in the playoffs. If you want to blow it up, you get rid of Devin Booker as well. Because if your whole point is to not make the playoffs, blow it up, if that's your objective.
See, I don't think blow it up, like, rebuild, right? I think blow up this core. Yes, you know what I mean. Like, if
that means getting rid of Booker, right?
No. I think it's just getting rid of Chris Paul because I think if you were to blow up the Celtics right now, which we always joked about, blow it up, that would be trading away Jaylen Brown, keeping Jason Tatum. That's blowing it up, in my opinion.
I don't think so.
That's your whole chemistry.
That's retooling.
That's not retooling. That's getting rid of your second best player.
Blowing it. That's not blowing it up.
Okay.
That's retooling. Blowing it up is
I don't know.
Blowing it up is what the Knicks do. Blowing it up is what like no, I'm serious. Like
blowing up is what the Knicks do.
Yeah,
They just constantly blow up.
I want credit for saying the Knicks aren't going to make the playoffs too, by the way.
Sure.
I want credit for that.
Oh yeah, you'll take that.
Thank you. But anyway, so when I ask blow it, sorry. So for now on, when I ask blow it up, I mean like clear house.
No, you don't clear house. Absolutely not.
Okay.
If you're the Suns, you've sucked for so long, right? Pretty much since the Steve Nash days, you've sucked. You've been awful. And I mean, you're a competitive team. You're just not going to win a ring. But it's hard.
So
it's
then
hard.
why not blow it up?
I mean, why would you, right?
Because if you're just gonna like tread your wheels like Portland did for so long, what's the point?
This
money?
Yeah.
I mean, you're an NBA franchise. You're gonna get money regardless.
It's not always guaranteed, though. You know what I mean? The Suns, first of all, just from adding Chris Paul to the team, wildly more successful. Sold way more tickets.
It's Chris Paul. He's a premier player.
Absolutely. But all right. Here's what I'm gonna bring this back to. Do I think that they should get rid of Chris Paul? Yes, I don't. I think this roster is peaked. I think they got to move on from a couple of guys. I don't like Jay Crowder on this team anymore. Are they going to? I don't think so. Because if you're the Phoenix Suns, you've been bad for a very, very long time. Now you have a good team. This team is not going to contend, in my opinion. I think that they're pretty much there. Maybe. I mean, it's yet to be seen, I guess, what they do. They're not going to move on from Chris Paul. They're not, because it's marketable. They make the playoffs now. Playoff tickets, you sell more of them. They're going to still be in the playoffs. This Phoenix team will still be a top 5 team in the West. They're just not going to win a ring. I think there's too many good teams out there.
Well, then again, you
throw one good player at Phoenix, they can't guard him, right? You throw Giannis, can't do it. You throw Luka,
no one can guard Giannis.
Sure, absolutely, but you know what I mean? They're good at beating teams. They're not good at beating players. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to beat Giannis. It's hard to beat Luka. The good teams do that. The great teams do that. I think Phoenix is a good team, and they're making too much money off of keeping Chris Paul and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. And I know that, and this is what Chris Paul did in Houston. He has that contract. He's going to put on Instagram, like, run it back, and he's going to get another extension. They're going to give him more money. I'm here in Phoenix to stay, and then they're probably a second-round exit next year or a finals.
Well, if that's all you're going to be, then why not completely clean house?
Okay, it's the NBA, Gino.
But if you're not
right?
Listen, if you're not going to be competing, if you're not serious title contenders, then there's no need to just be that. Like I said, the hard second round exit. And I'm not arguing whether or not like if they are or they're not going to do it. But why wouldn't you? You know, again, if you're just going to be like the Portland Trailblazers, then
they're better than Portland. They're better than that Portland team. Because here's the thing, I never thought that Dame and CJ coexist. CP3 and Devin Booker do coexist. They play well together, but I think that it's peaked. But this Phoenix team doesn't get better.
If the end result is you still being that second round exit every year, then it doesn't matter.
You sell playoff tickets.
It doesn't matter if that's all that we're in for, then screw that.
Well, that's and I agree with you. Yeah. I 100% agree with you that they should. And like I said, I think they should blow it up, but they're not going to, right? Because this is what the NBA sells. They sell, okay, you know, we're a good team. We're making a lot of money right now. Oh, this is our year. This is our year. It's what the Cavs did every single year with LeBron in the the mid 2000s. This is our time. We have LeBron. You sell tickets. You win a lot of games. You lose in the playoffs. And you say, run it back. It's rinse and repeat. We've seen in the NBA a bunch of times. It's what Brooklyn's been doing. Brooklyn can't contend, but they have a lot of flash. It's the exact same thing. Money is very important. It's extremely important.
I understand, but this NBA is going to make money regardless and despite itself.
Sure, yeah.
And with the play-in, they make even more money so they can compensate. And they can, sacrifice a little bit.
And I agree with you. But when you think about the Suns, I mean, you've been out of the playoffs, and now you've had 2 years where you're in the playoffs. You're very, very good, and fans are excited about that. Everyone was hyped on Phoenix last year. They were title favorites this year. Everyone was really, really excited for this team, and now you're just going to blow it up, and then you lose, your ticket sales, fans get angry, stuff like that. These are important things. While I don't think they're the most important, I mean, if you're an owner, you value that high. You're going to keep paying Chris Paul $25 million a year for the $100 million he makes, per month selling tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry. I have a coworker who's listening, and if I go, okay, then that's like an inside joke between him and I. So
shout out Gino's coworker.
Hell yeah, his name's Rick.
Shout out Rick.
Yes, sir. But anyway,
tough.
so if I'm the Phoenix Suns, to get to my point, what I do if I'm the Phoenix Suns, and to me, this keeps the longevity of the team's success. We saw what this team was able to do albeit a small sample size, in the bubble with Ricky Rubio as their starting point guard.
Yes.
And no disrespect to Ricky Rubio, because he did fit really well in that system, because I think that as presently constructed, this Phoenix team really needs that facilitator. Okay, this team kind of thrives off of having that facilitator, and having CP3, the ultimate floor general, really help this team out. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, what I do is I get Chicago Bulls on the phone. And I go, Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Right when you said facilitator, Lonzo. I love it.
I trade Chris Paul
Okay.
for Lonzo Ball. I'm sorry. Chris Paul for Lonzo Ball, and I get Patrick Williams.
Okay.
The 4th overall pick in the NBA draft a couple of years ago. Guy unfortunately tore his ACL.
Yep.
Okay, he's a small forward, but he's a jack of all trades type of guy. And if you say you don't want to re-sign Jay Crowder because he's going into his 3rd year on a 3-year, $24 million deal,
gotta get rid of that.
The perfect replacement for Jay Crowder is Patrick Williams.
Sure.
Not only is Lonzo Ball very good, first of all, he's better than Ricky Rubio was when he went off. He's
cheaper Chris Paul.
He's cheaper.
And his shooting's gotten better. I like this. I like where you're going with this.
Thank you. If I'm Phoenix, see, this is what you do. You re-sign DeAndre Ayton. You keep.
I was about to say that. Conti, we're on the same way. You got to get rid of Jay Crowder. You need to get rid of Chris Paul, because I believe next summer is when you pay DeAndre Ayton. Yes.
Yes.
So you need to clear up that money.
So let me clarify. I actually don't take any pleasure in saying this, because I've said it time and time again. I love Chris Paul. I believe he is the exemplary of what a player should be in the league.
Yes.
He's a real basketball player instead of just the athletes that are on the floor nowadays. Okay, and I truly think that he cares about fundamentals in the game, which I respect and is the last of a dying breed. Okay, so if you look at the Chicago Bulls, I mean, they could use a guy like Lonzo Ball. Use a guy like Chris Paul. Look at how they were when they had Lonzo on the floor.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is better than Lonzo Ball. I'm not saying that this will be an upgrade for the Phoenix Suns. I'm saying that this, since he's younger, will extend their run.
Yeah. If you're Chicago, who else do you have to pay? Levine's paid. Vooch is paid. I mean, Lonzo, you throw in the Patrick Williams rookie deal, you clear up all that money, bring Chris Paul in, and then Chicago is probably a top 3 team in the East, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then if you're the Suns, I mean, you get to pay Ayton, you get to pay Booker, or Booker's already paid, but you stay competitive, and you get that floor general type guy for cheap.
And Patrick Williams, who has extraordinary potential and already
needs to get a better jumper.
Yes,
has to.
At the very least, though, is a good, very solid role player, jack of all trades type of guy.
Sure.
So if that's what you can get for Chris Paul, in my opinion, yes. Do you have a little bit of a talent downgrade if you're Phoenix? Yes, absolutely you do. But at the same time, Devin Booker is also pretty goddamn young.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in the prime of his life right now. Chris Paul is playing like it, but let's be real, he's 37, but to be 38 years old. He doesn't have that much time left. Okay, he doesn't have that much time left. So, again, this team thrives off of having the facilitator. Get Lonzo, who's younger and coming off an injury. So, I mean, maybe that's a bit of a risk, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, if I'm them, I think that this is kind of a win-win for both sides, because Chicago not only gets the better player, so they kind of can win now, which is what they were looking like when Lonzo was healthy.
Yeah.
But then Phoenix gets to extend the longevity of their eliteness.
I like that deal. That's what I didn't even think about that. That's a really good plan. Get Gino on the GMs,
dude. Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Lonzo Ball,
I know you've been dialing them up, and usually I don't agree with a lot of the Conti deals because I'm like, Gino, that'll never happen. But these are good deals, and I don't think that these are out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, listen, like we both said, are they going to get rid of Chris Paul?
No,
probably not.
There's no shot.
Probably not. But I mean, if you or I were in the executive room, and if you thought of the trade I just said, would you do it?
Oh yeah, if I'm Phoenix, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're Phoenix, would you do it?
Yes.
And then honestly,
if you get to clear up Chris Paul, he's like you said, he's about to be old as shit. He's getting paid way too much money for that age. Obviously, he's competitive, and I'm a big Chris Paul guy too. I don't like the Chris Paul slander. I don't like questioning his longevity. Like you said, I feel like and I've heard this before, and I slightly agree with it, that he is the perfect point guard where he can.
Chris Paul?
Yes,
he is the perfect point guard.
Sure, I wish
there's nothing wrong with
Chris Paul. He's kind of, and Excuse me, he's a little bit short.
Huh?
You know, he's a little small. He's a little small for a point guard.
What are you trying to say?
You know what? I take it back. But no, he is up there.
Sorry, this ain't gonna work out then.
The classic Conti.
Only the elite get that.
Only the elite will get it. Yeah. Do we want to talk about this, or do you have more of the Suns?
Just real quick.
Sure.
The one thing I will say, I do think that JaVale McGee actually has crafted himself into a pretty decent player in the later years of his career. But I do think you do need to get a little bit younger. Okay, and I only mean a little bit, not like, draft this guy. But, I mean, obviously, if you want to draft a center, draft a center. But I do think a good veteran addition, kind of replace and, again, like, extend your longevity. Bring a guy in like Dwayne Dedmon.
Sure.
Guy who averages 8 and 8, can hit the occasional 3.
I think we talked about this.
I love Dwayne
Dedmon is good for like 15 minutes a game, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and that's it.
Yeah.
and he's out.
Dude, how many times have I told you I love Dwayne Dedmon?
Yeah, he's a good player.
If the Celtics get Dwayne Dedmon, I'll nut my pants. I love it. See, guys, role players, exactly. I love role players.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Dwayne Dedmon, please get Dwayne Dedmon.
That's the off-season move.
Please, yeah. Dwayne Dedmon, Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams, you're all set.
I do like it.
I mean, the main reason for your success will be Dwayne Dedmon. But
Of course.
So, I mean...
Also, the Sixers need to move on from Tobias Harris. I forgot to say that.
What's up?
Where's that?
Boy.
Where's that?
Brady's making some moves, man.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah. Hold on, come down and tell us about it.
Come down to the podcast, Brady.
Give us like 30 seconds, because we do need to... move on to our next.
Yeah.
That's literally it. There's nothing really to say.
Oh, so
okay.
Announce it to the world then.
The Bridgeton Academy coach. He's
Where is
St. Lauder.
It's like a preppier school. He just called me and he was like, "Hey man, I love."
Get your hands out your balls.
Sorry.
Didn't you already commit though?
He was like, "Hey man, I love the way that you play. Just wondering if you're still interested." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Like I already committed to the University of New England like just a few weeks ago." And then we talked a little bit, and he's like, "All right, man, you have a good one."
Yeah. Hey, well, still, man, you got
Brady Nicholson decommitting live on Conti Nich. Question mark?
Fuck up.
Yeah, everyone watches Conti and Nick.
You got people hunting you down.
Brady, wait, while you're here still, we made our
commit to the University of New England in Maine, which no one's ever heard of.
We did the Patriots playoff prediction for this year. I have them going 7-10. Gino has them going 10-7.
Yeah,
what do you think? What do you think?
What? Wait,
so the Patriots.
I have Pats going 10-7. Will has Pats going 7-10. Who do you side with more?
You have Pats going 7-10.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Have you seen our schedule?
Go fuck yourself.
This guy hasn't seen our schedule.
I'm hugging you because you just had your hands in your balls.
Gino, the fuck is? Why do you do a podcast with this kid?
Oh my god.
Hey man, he does the tech stuff.
Jordan Love. I know, right? Jordan Love will not take over. You're crazy for that.
Can you do a podcast with me tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we're doing that, right?
Yeah, for my English project. So I can graduate.
All right, Brady, get out.
Yeah, get out of here.
We
gotta talk about Patrick Beverly.
I fucking hate that guy.
I agree.
Listen, all I gotta say, I only have one take, and I'll let Will go on as a little rant if he wants to.
Sure.
All I gotta say about Patrick Beverly, it's very rare, especially in big platforms, that you get people who aren't influenced by people, who want to talk about certain things. Patrick Beverly is a guy who's in the locker room every single day with lots of different players. He's running a decent amount of teams. He gives you honest analysis on what players think, on what players are saying in that locker room. He is a primary source, right? If we want to know something about science, we listen to scientists, right?
Sure,
if we want to know something about aquatics, we go to marine biologists, right?
Sure.
If we want to know something about what NBA opinions and NBA locker rooms are, you go to an NBA player. He's a primary source. I am happy for it, and I'm glad that we're finally getting true, honest analysis on a major sports network like ESPN, who doesn't do it.
Sure.
That's all I have to say.
Fair. And
Will, say what you got to say.
I love players going on sports shows and talking. I love when Baker Mayfield went on The Herd. I love when NBA players go on First Take. I love it, right? Chris Paul was, let me rephrase, sorry. Patrick Beverly, and I know how these things work. I know how long it takes to set up a show. Patrick Beverly had to get up at like 4:30 to go to First Take. And he had to do a 7:30 show, and he was on there until he went on multiple shows. He was on ESPN all day. He was on Get Up. He was on First Take. He was everywhere. He was on Pardon My Take. He was literally everywhere.
Jalen and Jacoby.
Yeah, I don't know if he was on that. He went on First Take, and he started at 7:30 in the morning, and all day he spent slandering Chris Paul. For what? For what? The Minnesota Timberwolves, were okay this year. For what? I mean, if you're Patrick Beverly...
They were better than okay.
Sure, they were a 7th seed. They played in the play-in. But if you're Patrick Beverly, who are you? Who are you to be talking all of this to Chris Paul? He dropped 40 on you in the playoffs last year. He made it further than you. I don't know where this just hate for Chris Paul is coming from. Makes no sense. Dude's a good player, right? People, yeah, he's when he's on the floor, and sometimes people argue that he was dirty, which I have heard before. I disagree with that. I think Chris Paul is a great player. I just don't understand where this came from, right? If you're Patrick Beverly, enjoy your offseason where you get to go to First Take and you get to slander other players for no reason. This dude's a menace to society. He always has been. He did it to KD. I don't understand. And who's he saying? Oh, I'm not going to bed early to guard Chris Paul. Is that why Chris Paul dropped 40 on you in the playoffs? I don't get it. I don't understand what he's doing. As I'm sitting here and I slander players every week, but still, I don't know. I don't know. That's my rant.
You can say he slandered Will, but how many times did he say this is what people in locker rooms are saying?
It felt like more of a him thing, though. You know what I mean?
Because he's saying it. If anyone else was saying it, we'd be saying the same thing. But just because it's Patrick Beverly and he has that reputation, we just assume that he's slandering.
I think he's capping.
How many times did Patrick Beverly preface that he was saying that this was the words of other people in the league?
I disagree. I think he's capping. And he would be the guy to totally lie about that.
So
too.
why? So okay. So if a marine biologist comes up to you and tells you, this aquatic is this pufferfish is the most poisonous pufferfish in the whole sea, you're just gonna say he's capping?
No, but here's
the
thing.
If an NBA player says,
but Patrick Beverly's an asshole. He's an ass. Like, he would totally go on ESPN and be like, man, you know what? Fuck Chris Paul, just to talk shit about Chris Paul. That is absolutely. And look, this isn't some type of obviously the NBA is a profession, right? But this isn't some type of like that would be a fact, right? This is just his opinion that, you know what? People aren't scared of Chris Paul. It's like, who? I don't know.
I mean, clearly, listen, I love Chris Paul. Again, he's one of my favorite players of all time, but if you talk to any professional in any field or any profession ever, and if they tell you something, most of the time,
but NBA players got egos, they got ego. It's different. It's different, though, you know what I mean?
Everyone has egos.
This isn't fact, you know what I mean? And I literally think that he could just straight up be lying. I really doubt that people are like, oh yeah, Chris Paul. Psh, Chris Paul's a good player. He's a great player.
Kids, the moral of Will Nicholson's story:
don't believe what you hear.
If a history textbook tells you that,
that's not what I'm saying.
If a history textbook tells you that in 1776, July 4th, we signed the Declaration of Independence and sent it to the Redcoats,
that's not what I'm saying.
What? It didn't happen.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm all for NBA players going and talking about everything on First Take. I love it. It's some of my favorite stuff to watch. I love the new Magic Johnson documentary where him and Bird go and talk. They Call Me Magic. He talks about, it starts off with his career, then goes into the HIV stuff, which it's a wide swing, by the way. It took a turn, but loved watching it. So I like this kind of like, okay, documentary type stuff where it's, okay, this is The Last Dance. This is, Tom Brady talking about whatever. But we're talking about Patrick Beverly here.
So do you think
what the fuck has Patrick Beverly done? And also, Perkins is wrong like every other day. So
okay, man. Listen,
know.
I always prefer. Look, this is why I love listening to Mark Jackson. This is why I love listening to Stan Van Gundy. Whenever we talk about NBA, I know you don't like Stan Van Gundy.
I don't. But I like Jalen Rose.
Listen, I like listening to people who have genuine experience.
Sure.
Who have genuine experience coaching or playing. That's what I love to see. Because, listen, if they've lived it, regardless of if they're fired and they don't have the accolades, if they lived it, then they certainly know what they're talking about more than, no offense, I love Marv Albert. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or,
absolutely, yeah.
Than Kevin Harlan.
I'm all for it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, real quick, before we get into this, round through predictions.
We'll do that.
Celtics in 6, Golden State Warriors in 6.
I like it. I have Golden State Warriors in 5. Give me Celtics in 6.
Oh, Golden State in 5, gentleman sweep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
I think Luka wins you a game. I think this Golden State team's too good. I've said it too. I mean, no one's beating this Warriors team if they stay healthy.
You said it. No, you said it, and I'll give you absolute credit for it.
Yeah.
And real quick, just so you know, the basketball IQ of the Boston Celtics last night was absolutely
It was
horrendous.
horrible. It was horrible. You know who they got to start learning from if they really want to succeed? They got to
You
take
know,
his
I
IQ.
mean, Ime's a great head coach, but I mean, the Celtics were just to hire one guy. If they were to hire this one guy, maybe as an assistant, because Ime's done a good job as the head coach,
Sure.
their IQ would go through the roof.
Who would that be, Gino? John Bro! Peace, ladies and
I didn't
gentlemen.
make that account, by the way.